Welcome back, Be Better Tribe. This is your host, Julian Alvarez. This podcast is designed for us to reflect on our leadership journey, stories, and lessons we've learned along the way to help us become better. And as we do that, I wanted to make sure I reminded you, if you can, please like, comment, and subscribe, or share it with individuals that you think this podcast might be interesting for. And you can also visit our website, bebettertribe.com, where you can pick up some gear or the habit tracker journal that I created that has helped me stay on track and stay diligent with the goals that I'm trying to achieve. But this podcast is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a solo episode where I talk about a current event. I didn't want to get into current events. I didn't want to get into anything political, and I don't think this episode will. But I just wanted to reflect back on the World Cup, and I think what it's bringing to what it's really bringing to the world. And that's the exciting part, because the World Cup is such a special event. It's every 4 years. It brings together every walk of life. It brings together different languages, different cultures, different beliefs. And the beauty of it is we all find common ground to celebrate. Whether it's the Scottish team coming into Boston, Miami, and their fans really taking over and like bringing this energy about the city and the culture, and it's just so fun to see. And then you see the Netherlands, the Dutch, they're marching with their orange and they're taking their double-decker bus down Dallas and in that area. And then you see all the Latin countries dancing in the streets and having a really great time. And so the one thing that I saw, and the post that I saw on the social media was, I'm not sure if the USA deserved to have the World Cup, but gosh, we needed it. And, when we think about what has happened in the division that we're seeing within our country, I just think it's beautiful to see other cultures and to see other beliefs and to see all the teams celebrating and coming together and being welcomed within the United States. There are some teams that aren't welcome. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but I do want to make a statement about that. And so, if you don't know what I'm talking about, the Iran, the soccer team, are staying in Tijuana and they're actually playing in LA. And so it's unfortunate. I think it's not fair. It's unfortunate that they have to travel every game to go from Mexico to the United States, and they're not allowed to stay. Now, again, whatever your political view is, I don't want to go down that, but I do think it's unfortunate. And I do think they wrote a beautiful letter after one of their games, thanking the staff and talking about how they were humans and they want the best for their families and the best for their kids and their people. And I do think that's beautiful. And I think we should think about that. I think it's a great way for us to realize, like, these soccer players are their parents, they're people. And the more that we can humanize each other and the more we can share that common ground, I think the better off we will all be. And one of the things that I did see that was a bit frustrating was there was only a couple countries. I think it was an African country, and it was the players of Iran were asked political questions. Obviously there's a war right now between the United States and Iran, which again, we're not going to get into, but it is unfair and it's not right that those players are the only ones being asked questions and not the United States players. And personally, I think we should try to not have those conversations. Let me reframe. I believe that, like, either all of us should be asked that question or none of us. I don't think it's fair. And I don't think it's right. But again, I digress to what the World Cup has brought to the United States. And I do believe it's celebration. I believe it's diversity. I believe it's the ability for us to get out of our own way in terms of the division we're having amongst each other, and really think about a quote that I absolutely love from Teddy Roosevelt. And I'm going to pull it up here because I think it does hit home in terms of, like, the United States are playing tomorrow. And I think it reminds me of the importance of being together and thinking about not red and blue, but thinking about the United States as a whole. And the quote that Theodore Roosevelt said was patriotism means to stand by the country. It does not mean to stand by the president or any other political public official. And so I think that resonates because in my opinion, there's just so much division and there's so much disagreement and I'm going to use the word hatred, which again, I think is it's important to take a step back and it's important to remind us that patriotism could look like cheering for the United States and still be critical of what we're seeing or what you disagree with. And so like I encourage everyone to, vote and follow what you believe is right. But I just felt like it was important to talk about that because it hit home for me. And I love the fact that we're opening the doors to all these visitors around the world. I love the fact that we're appreciating all the different cultures. I love the comedic relief that we're seeing where there was that German kid who had ranch for the first time and is loving it and says what he loves the most about the World Cup was that he tried ranch. I love the connection between South Korea and Mexico down in Mexico during that whole thing. And so it's such a beautiful thing. And what I wanted to talk about as I'm wrapping up this shorter episode is I think it reminded me of a book I reread recently that I posted on LinkedIn about was the Four Agreements. And I think all of the turmoil that's going on, all of the things that are happening, but the goodness of the World Cup feels awesome. And I don't think I don't think it's meant to say that we should hide everything or that we shouldn't talk about things that are tough to talk about. But what I am saying is, I think it gives hope and it gives perspective and it gives the opportunity for us as a society and as humankind to appreciate the different languages, to appreciate the different cultures, to appreciate the different beliefs, and to celebrate the country that you're part of. I'm Mexican American. My dad immigrated to the United States, like I talked about in previous episodes. And I love seeing Mexico succeed. I love seeing that happen. And I love seeing the United States succeed. It's amazing to cheer for your country. And so, whether you reflect back to like the Miracle on Ice, where the USA upset the Soviet Union, whether it's the Olympics that you're really enjoying, it's just fun to be connected to the greater good. And I love cheering for our country. And again, I think it goes back to cheering for your country is a good thing. And it's okay to cheer for your country, even if you disagree with some things that are going on. And if you want to cheer for other countries too, I think that's beautiful as well. If there's a special player that you're cheering for another country, if there's a type of player or whatever the case may be, or if you just like having fun or celebrating a different country's wins, that's phenomenal and that's awesome. It's so cool to see a country like Cape Verde get out of the first round where they're a really small country and it's so great to see the celebrations that they're having or Curacao scoring their first goal or what country? There's another country that won their first knockout game, and so I just think it's beautiful. I think it's amazing, and I wanted to share that on this podcast because I do think it's important to share journeys and leadership things that I think make me reflect back. And again, how I'll wrap it up is it's making me think about this book because I do think the lessons in this book do allow us to be better people, and it allows us to appreciate different walks of life, and it allows us to like be true to ourselves and also accept people for who they are. And there's a couple quotes and things that I love, whether it's a teaching from the Dalai Lama or or Don Miguel Ruiz, the author of this book, or Voltaire, a Voltaire quote that I love. I don't want to mess it up, so I'm going to look it up. It's about it's about difference of opinions and about free speech. And I just think it's a really great quote before I actually go into the Four Agreements. And the quote goes, I I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. So I'll share that one more time. I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. And the reason why I'm saying that quote is because whether you agree with somebody's culture, language, beliefs, religious views, the way they live their life, like I do think that quote relates because I do think their right to say it is there, and I think there are things that we have to stand up against: hatred, violence, like things like that. But I also do think it is important to be okay with disagreement. And when we go into disagreement, here's where the World Cup is going to relate to this learning that has, that I really go back to a lot. And it's the four agreements. Okay, so the four agreements are: the first one is be impeccable with your word. Let me repeat that: be impeccable with your word. So make sure when you say something, you mean what you say. You think about like what you say. You think about what you're going to say before you say it. And I always remind my little guys. I got three boys, and so one of them's 6, another one's 4, and another, or he's going to be 4 soon, and another one is just hitting a month and a half. And I would say, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. And that's what my parents taught me. And so be impeccable with your word. It matters. The next thing is don't take anything personally. And so if somebody's mean to you, if somebody has a different political view than you, if somebody's being rude, if somebody is just kind of nasty to you or just is not a happy person, don't take it personally because you have no idea what they've been through. And also don't take it personally because don't let them get to you. Don't take it personally and don't let them make you feel a certain way. You have a choice and you make that choice. And so I love the don't take anything personally. The next one, the third agreement, is don't make assumptions. Don't assume you know something about someone. Don't assume you know everything about them. You've never walked a day in their you've never walked in their shoes for a minute. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know what they just had. And I love that agreement. I love the four agreement. I love the third one, don't make assumptions, because it's so true. You can think back when you assumed ill intent from somebody, but you actually didn't you didn't dig in, you didn't ask, you weren't curious about that. And so instead of making assumptions about people or about situations, be curious, be thoughtful. Don't always assume that people are out to get you or they're bad. You can find the common ground, and a lot of the times when you don't assume is when you start building bridges instead of breaking them down. So again, the first agreement, be impeccable with your word. Second agreement is don't take anything personally. And then the third agreement is don't make assumptions. And then all three of those are connected, in my opinion, of build those bridges, build those connections, because connections with people is what makes us happy. And going to the Dalai Lama, Art of Happiness, one of the books he read is Compassion is Happiness, and show people that compassion. And I can almost guarantee it's gonna create more happiness within your life. And the last one is an easy one. It's just always do your best. And that's hard. It's never easy. I wish I could always do my best. But I do feel like having conversations like this, putting myself out there during this podcast, and reflecting and enjoying the World Cup and this global event, as well as thinking about these life lessons, have really helped me get better. And, as we all try to do our best, I just challenge you, as the fourth agreement is, continue to do that. Show up every day. Have some fun, and always remember to be better. And so with that, enjoy the World Cup. This is part 1 of that. I am so fortunate and blessed that I get to go to the World Cup. I get to see the USA in their first knockout round in Levi Stadium. And so what the goal will be is go to the game and enjoy the game. And then part 2 is actually going to be, hopefully, it'll be a couple of the individuals that I've interviewed at the podcast. Some of them will be with me. Some of them are just going to the game. But I'd like to get a group of 3 of us and reflect back on the energy and the global event and what it means to them. I think the World Cup, again, it's only every 4 years, and it's such a beautiful event. I've seen such amazing things that I feel like it makes sense to talk about it twice. So I hope you enjoyed part 1. If you can, again, like I said, like, comment, and subscribe. Remember those 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best. I think we can all live a happier and healthier life. And again, enjoy the World Cup. Have a great rest of the day, and take care. Cheers.